And we're back, guys. I'm your host, Good Energy. Welcome to Tennis After Dark. And we have a championship to be played. That's right. The Citibank Open in DC. This is going to be a great final. And we're going to take a look at the two finalists. And I will tell you who I think will win this match. Now, listen, guys. Before we go any further, like the video, show some love. I've been very busy lately, so I haven't been able to bring you as much content, but we are turning the corner, guys. Get ready. Things are going to get really nice around here. Now, I do want to say that both of these ladies deserve to be here. Okay? They both had an amazing week. And again, two of my favorite ladies to watch play. I think they're both talented and amazing. But I'm going to give you my fair, honest criticism here. And let's start with Leylah Fernandez. All right. Let's go back. We have to, guys. We have to. Let's go back to the 21 season. I'm not going to talk much about juniors. I've talked about it in the past. You know, I think Leylah's. I think she had an amazing junior career. I think she came to the main tour, and a lot of people thought she was undersized. Which, look, you can think that all you want, but it's about heart. And Leylah Fernandez has a lot of heart. Let's look at that 21 run at the U.S. Open, right? First round, Anna Konjua. Remember, she had an amazing junior career as well. Kaya Kanepi. And by the way, Anna Kalinskaya got one of her biggest runs into a main tour draw here at Citibank as well. So she's played good tennis here. And if I'm not mistaken, that was a few years ago before Kanepi upset her. But also Osaka, Angelique Kerber, two slam champions there. Svitolina, Sabalenka, another slam champion, but at the time she wasn't. Now, going into that match against Sabalenka, I heard a lot of the press, the media, a lot of the former players, and I've heard some things that really upset me. Now, I heard professionals, I heard, announcers, just former players say that Leylah had no chance to defeat Sabalenka. And I was at the match. I might post some of the videos I took there, some of the pictures. But she did it. She shocked the world. And after losing to Emma in the final, a lot of people said, that was it for Leylah. She's not going to win a main tour title. That was her only shot. And what happened since then? Since that 21 U.S. Open, Leylah Fernandez has made at least 17 quarterfinal, semifinal, or final appearances on the main tour. That's right. More than Emma or Anna Kalinskaya. Right? She's done very well with two of those being titles, right? We saw her win a championship. I want to say it was I think she won Tokyo, right? She won Tokyo. We saw her win Mexico, Monterey. And she also made the Eastburn final where she lost to Dasha. And she's been very consistent along that stretch, right? While you take a look at Emma, who's been playing a lot better tennis the last, let's just say 2 years, right? Let's just round up. But 22 to 23 seasons were very tough for Emma. She had to make adjustments to the main tour, and she wasn't going deep in tournaments. And in fact, she has not made a main tour. She has not made a final since that U.S. Open championship. While Anna Kalinskaya has been heating up as well. The last couple of years, we saw her go very deep in some tournaments. A couple Master 1000s. We saw her have a deep run at the Australian Open, which bumped her up huge in the rankings. But she's taking on someone she's never beat before. Now, technically, on the main tour, when you play qualifying matches, they don't necessarily count those as actual matches. So Leylah did defeat Anna during a qualifiers match, but Officially, they've played once on the main tour, and Leylah owns that head to head. Now, the qualifying match I think it was, or was it an exhibition? I really don't remember. I think it was more of like an exhibition. But in terms of the official head to head, we could say it's One Love. Technically, it's Two Love, but it's One Love. They played in Mexico in 21. And by the way, another great tournament where Anna really went deep in the draw has been Mexico. We saw her for the first time ever. She made a quarterfinal at a Master 1000 before Sloane Stevens took her out a couple of years ago. Now, these two ladies, I think they have very, very different styles, right? And I think it's going to class. Pressure burst pipes, and one of these ladies, I think, is going to have a very, very long day. Now, if you take a look at that match with Leylah Fernandez against Elena Rybakina, it went 3 sets. Rybakina had 17 aces. She won 83% of her first serves. That's not a match that Rybakina should have lost. In fact, if you tell me or anyone that Rybakina is going to have 17 aces and win 83% of her first serves, technically 62 out of 75. She had 75 first serves. Rybakina won 62 of them. That she would lose that match, I would say no way. But it came down to the second serve. That's right. Only 46% of those won from Rybakina. She lost 54%. While Leylah, on the other hand, managed to put up 12 aces, 72% of her first serves won. But the break points, very, very consistent. In fact, it was a break fest. 1 for 6 on break points. Literally. 1 for 6 on break points. I mean, I think the ladies there, they played good defense when it counted, when it really mattered. But the key for me overall in this match here between Leylah and Elena Rybakina was when it mattered. When it came down to the clutch, Leylah came through. Leylah won out of the last 10 points. She won 7 of them. And if you take a look at the match with Anna Kalinskaya, I talked about this a little bit earlier. I don't necessarily know if she was pushed, if she was challenged. Now, I've talked about this in the past as well. Going into a final, you don't necessarily want to be banged up. You don't want to be in a type of match where it could hinder your recovery, your progress for the championship match. But you don't necessarily want an easy match as well, right? I don't know if Anna was really challenged because I think she was fatigued. I think she looked a little sluggish. I think she just didn't have it. And that happens a lot, guys. I do feel with Emma it happens more than a lot of other players, but it does happen, especially when you factor in that heat. It's very hot in DC. I'm telling you. I think it's a great venue. I think it's a great tournament, but when it's that hot, that will affect your play. I'm telling you, it's very humid out there. It's not, the thing about this East Coast heat, like in places like DC and New York, it's a different type of heat. It could be 90 degrees or 95, and it's just going to be so humid and sticky. It's going to be very uncomfortable to play in. And I think also playing doubles and playing, all these tight sets with Marta Casio, Clara Towson, I think it just caught up with her. And I say that because I don't feel Anna had the type of match where going into a match with Leylah Fernandez where it's going to be a track meet, it's going to be a lot of movement. I don't know if that was a good prerequisite. Now, during that match, she mixed it up very well. 31 winners. I mean, the mix was about 17 backhand, 14 on the forehand. But I want to take a look at the break points, though, right? So overall with the break points, 4 for 6 from Anna, right? So she had 6 opportunities to break Emma, converted on 4 of them. While on the other hand, I think even though she didn't play her best tennis, she still did a good job pressuring Anna into pressure point situations. Anna did a probably more of an amazing job saving the break point. But Anna did have some service games that they were just very sloppy in my personal opinion. And look, fair criticism, right? And I feel against Leylah, I don't think that's going to work. Factor in the 5 double faults that Anna Kalinskaya had. If I were setting this match, I would have Leylah as the favorite. I think so. But looking at it, it looks like Anna is the favorite in this match, and I don't agree with that. I don't think that's right. Right? Anna is a very good ball striker. She can baseline, but I think she does play her best tennis just about inside the baseline, right around. Very comparable to Jessica Pegula. I don't think she plays at her strongest. I think she can go harder, but this is what I've always said about Anna Kalinskaya. And a lot of the experts have agreed with me in the past, and it's great. I love when I break down a player's game and I hear an expert like Davenport, who I just love. She'll come along, she'll say the same thing that I said. I'm like, good, I'm a genius. I know what I'm talking about here. Anna's very foxy, right? She's very, very sly. She will play at like maybe a 6.5 level for a few service games. And if you learn to that pace, she raises her game to an 8. Next thing you know, you're broken. She wins a set, and she's cruising towards winning the match. That can catch players off guard. The problem with this matchup is Leylah's always aggressive. It's her style. She has to use her speed to make up for the power. So Leylah's been knocked about her size. So that was one of the big knocks. You know, I'm not going to say their names, but, you know, a very, very famous player just talked about how Leylah had no chance to beat Sabalenka and this and that. And power. It's always been about power, right? It's not necessarily been her size. We've seen the shorter players like Jasmine Paulini's of the world do very well with having that short center of gravity. In fact, it's an advantage in a lot of situations. But the problem is the power. You can't, if someone can just control the pace and the tempo with their power, there's really not much you can do. You can try to redirect. You can go to 2 different levels of topspin, ball heights, to try to make it uncomfortable and just try to extend the rally to where they're on the defensive. You can go deeper, higher balls, but it's very tough to overcome power in a ball striking contest. Leylah uses her athletic ability. She loves to bring opponents forward and hit passing shots. She loves to go to short balls. And she has a left down the line where if she can get to it, you won't even have the chance to return it. The problem with this matchup is I think that Anna, even though she can disguise her level, she's a very good shot maker, coming off of a matchup where you're facing Elena Rybakina that won 83% of her first serves, 17 aces, very powerful. Leylah's not going to have to worry about those things. So those are a couple things, and I know Jorge is going to put together a good game plan that's just going to be in the back of her mind, that's giving her a little bit more comfort. You've beat this player twice already. You know you have the advantage. And in the power category, I think it's going to be very comparable, to be honest with you. Now, I might give Kalinskaya a slight edge on power, but I think that's going to be offset when Leylah starts to move her around with the ability to possibly force Anna to make a lot of mistakes. Now, Kalinskaya, on the other hand, she's beat some very good competitors to make it here to this final. Like, you can't ignore the win over Clara Tauson, an amazing server. But I'd give Anna the footwork edge there. And between the lines, the longer the rallies, I would give Anna the edge there as well. The same with Lynette. Now, not necessarily the longer the rally, but I think Anna can stretch the court a lot better than Lynette, right? Also think that, and Anna's former junior champion as well. So very, very good career as well. Kamila Rakimova, right? I talk about Rakimova and how I think her game hasn't really matured to where some of the other Russian players have. And that kind of disappoints me a little bit. I talked about that as well because I think she should be having the success of a Diana Snyder. I'm not necessarily going to say Mira Andreeva, but I do think she should be having at least some success, like like a Diana Snyder, in having won several main tours already. But overall, I mean, I think that Anna Kalinskaya, she's going to be the superior shot maker overall. I do think in this matchup she will be the superior shot maker without a doubt. I do think, however, though, especially when it comes to hard, and you're playing a player like Leylah Fernandez that's fast, she's constantly pushing a fast tempo. She wants to keep everything in front of her because she wants to take away your power. The easier way to take away someone's power, especially on a hard court, just shorten the court. Shorten the court. You can't get underneath these balls. You're going to make a lot of mistakes, but you're going to play into Leylah's hands. I think if she can do that, I think Leylah Fernandez can defeat Anna Kalinskaya. Now, stylistically, I think of all the matches that Leylah's had, and by the way, Anna has not dropped the set here. We know that in DC yet. But again, I think the match today against Emma, I don't think that was Emma's best stuff. And in fact, I know it wasn't. I could tell that she was fatigued. It definitely wasn't her best stuff because it's a match that Emma probably should have won. I mean, even that first set was really, really tight. If Emma just had a little bit more gas, I think she gets over the hump, and then the second set's a little bit different. However, guys, of all the matches that Anna's played here in DC so far, this is by far going to be the toughest. This is the best mover she's faced. Of all the matches that Leylah's faced so far here in DC, I don't rank this her toughest. I mean, I think it would be very comparable. And look, I don't want to compare Anna to a Maya Joint, but the way Maya Joint's playing, I would compare Anna's ball striking to that. I think Pegula's ball striking's on a little bit higher level. But again, Anna has a very comparable game like Pegula, like I said before. I think Taylor moves very well around mid-court. But to defeat Elena Rybakina, I just don't think anything that Anna throws at Leylah is going to frustrate her on that type of level. Coming back down a set, it's tough. And this is what I've always said: when Rybakina faces Coco again, I think it's going to be very comparable. I think Coco's just going to be able to hit passing shots and just move around Rybakina's attack and her arsenal at will. And that's really what I think this match comes down to. I think Leylah's just going to be able to sidestep a lot of what Anna's going to throw at her. Now, when Leylah starts to speed up Anna, I don't know how she's going to recover in these rallies. I just don't know. Because if you watch the match with Emma Raducanu earlier, when Emma did get to her footwork and her athletic edge, Anna lost a lot of those shots and those points. And I think Leylah's going to be just a step too quick today. She has to start fast, in case you get 2 long or 3 long grueling sets. You could see the result of a long match with Elena Rybakina come into play. I think Leylah has to get off to a fast start. And I think 12 aces is just, that's a sign that she's serving well. She's literally keeping her opponents on the back foot on that first serve. When they're stepping up, you got a +1 that they can't get to because it's a left going away from her defender. And I think I think it's her time. I think Leylah knows she has to win this title. I think she knows even though she's made 3 finals since that 21 U.S. Open. She's won 2 of the 3. This is going to be the biggest final she's played outside of that U.S. Open match against Emma Raducanu. I think Leylah knows now's the time. She has to win this title. And I know Jorge is going to put together a great game plan. She is 4 years the junior of Anna Kalinskaya. And I'm telling you guys, Anna has a lot of fun out there. I think she's got a great demeanor, a great personality. But I think Leylah's going to go in there with that eye of the tiger mentality. I think it's going to be 2 different mentalities. And one thing you want to watch, especially when you're watching Anna play in her post-match interviews, she's always very, very tired after the match, very exhausted. Remember that match in, I want to say was it Dubai or Doha? When she defeated Coco, and she was just out of breath. She couldn't get it together. She's like, yes, I felt her power just right up to the last shot. It's just, she wouldn't go away. You're right. Coco's not going to go away. And I think that's what's going to happen in this final. I think Leylah's not going to go away. Leylah's going to force this issue. If Leylah, it's much comparable to like Alicia Parks in that final against Belinda Bencic. As long as Parks pushes that pace, I don't see how Anna's going to keep up in these rallies. Much like Jasmine Paolini, against Anna Kalinskaya in that final as well. I just think that Leylah has too much, guys. I don't think Leylah should be the underdog here. And in fact, and what was that tournament, by the way? Was it it had to, yeah, it was Dubai. It was. So it was the first time Kalinskaya defeated she defeated like several slam champions. She defeated Ostapenko, slam champion, Coco Gauff, and Iga. So she defeated 3 slam champions in a row. Yes, so she defeated 3 slam champions in a row. And what? Iga was still number 1 then, right? So she defeated literally 3 top former 5 players, which was like super duper history. And a lot of people thought she would defeat Jasmine Paolini. That was Dubai, by the way. But no, Jasmine was just too much. And I think Leylah's going to be too much here as well. I just think stylistically, Anna's game plays into what Leylah wants to do. And we're going to take Leylah Fernandez to win her first her first WTA 500 tournament. This is it, guys. Comment below, how do you think Anna Kalinskaya can win this title? How do you think Leylah can win it? Tennis in a minute. We'll be back.